The Hog Sty is brought to you by TicketClub.com, your one-stop shop for live events nationwide. Whether you're looking for game, theater, or live performance tickets, don't sweat it. TicketClub.com has you covered. So make sure you're going there for all your live entertainment needs, and make sure you're clicking over to them from the banner at the top of the hogsty.com.
By fans, for fans, the Hog Sty. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
What a shit show that was, everybody. Just like, Steve, I'm used to being let down on Monday nights, but we were let down just like kicked in the face right away. Never got back up type game. That was awful.
I would argue that we kicked ourselves in the face.
Oh, yeah.
More than anything.
Well, we didn't. The team kicked us in the face.
True. Yeah, that's what I meant. By using the pronoun we, I was really referring to the team. So, yeah, the team kind of kicked themselves in the face. All around pathetic effort, in every way. Here's what I would say. Despite the turnovers, which obviously led to 21 points, to me the game was lost in the trenches.
Oh, yeah.
Case Keenum clearly had his worst game as a Redskin. There's no doubt about that. And he was just terrible with the ball, with protecting the ball and all the fumbles.
5 turnovers, or was it 6 altogether?
It was 3 interceptions, and I think we had 2 lost fumbles, and then the other fumble was not lost.
Right,
so I think
Okay.
I think it was 5. But point is, and there's no excuse for the fumble that was on the 4th down. I kind of understood what he was doing. He's trying to reach out and get the first down, hopefully fall, and that was where the ball would be marked, I guess. But this is a dumb play. But here's the point to me: my key to the game in the written game preview was the first one I listed was Khalil Mack versus Donald Penn and Morgan Moses.
Right.
And
you didn't have Khalil Mack versus the air.
Yeah, exactly. No, I did not. Because I didn't think the air had a very good chance of stopping him.
No.
And the Redskins, the Redskins proved that the air didn't do a good job because they didn't even block him. Right. At times, and that is a scheme problem. That is a protection problem. Either it's either the quarterback or the center or somebody is not identifying the defensive formation and calling the protection right, because you just don't do that. That was where the game was lost. Case Keenum was under pressure, running for his life, until the game was out of reach and in garbage time.
Right.
And those fumbles were
about 3 minutes before the half.
Yeah, and then it was the Bears knew it was over in the second half.
Right.
And they kind of lit up on the gas a little bit there. But point is, all that stuff was caused by just the utter failure, embarrassment, and humiliation that the offensive line suffered tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and it's been the same story all year. The line can't do a good job. Like, they've been okay in pass protection up till this point, but their run stopping, or their running ability has just been awful. And the defense doesn't know how to play defense, apparently, to put it nicely.
Here are the stats real fast. Keenum was 30 of 43 for 332 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 4 sacks, rating of 78.8. It's just amazing. His rating's even that high. Adrian Peterson had his best game of the year, 12 carries, 37 yards. As a team, they were 21 for 69. Receiving, the leading receiver was Paul Richardson, 8 receptions, 83 yards. Chris Thompson, 4 for 79. Terry McLaurin, 6 for 70. Richardson and McLaurin had the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Goes down from there. For the Bears side, Mitchell Trubisky, 25 for 31, 231 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, quarterback rating of 116.5. David Montgomery, 13 carries, 67 yards. Taylor Gabriel, until he went out, looked like Jerry Rice. 6 receptions, 75 yards, 3 touchdowns. Allen Robinson, 6 for 60, and I don't feel like reading the rest of this trash.
Sure. And so I think the stats really don't paint a fair picture of just how bad this game was lost in the first half.
Oh,
and because the Redskins basically did nothing for the first 30 minutes, except for missing a field goal and making a field goal kind of to end the second half, or first half, second quarter. There was nothing going right for them offensively and defensively to start this game. And by the time they were trying to come back in it was too late. And I jokingly said this on Twitter. Hey, for everyone who complains about Jay Gruden not making halftime adjustments, he kind of did it this week. I mean,
you know what?
Not really.
The halftime adjustments thing is a bit overrated.
Yeah, I know.
And for those of you who've played football, I mean, you know that you're in the locker room for a few minutes. They're not redesigning a game plan. What it really more is that his game plans are boring and predictable. Right. A lot of times, and he doesn't do in-game adjustments very well. If the run game doesn't work, he just gives up on it. For example, exactly. And he's done that consistently for years. But I mean, what you're saying about how nothing worked right in the first half, particularly, was really born out of the fact that the offensive line were just tackling dummies today.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was nonstop penetration. It was on both run and pass plays. It's no wonder that Adrian Peterson only had 37 yards rushing. Right. A lot of that came in the second half, by the way. That's where the game was lost.
Yeah, I mean, the only effective thing we had going was special teams in the first half. And even then, it wasn't great. It was just kind of, you didn't massively screw up. You missed a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what can you say? But yeah, anyway, I mean, it's just, we knew what the Bears were. This is what really killed me about this game. We knew what the Bears were. The Bears are actually what the Redskins wish they were.
Exactly.
In many respects. They have this stout defense that can really put their foot on the throat of a team when they have to. Mm-hmm. And they have a ball control offense. And the ball control offense really is born out of the running game, and a quarterback who is erratic and inconsistent, but does consistently throw underneath a lot. Sure. And that's what Jay Gruden is just burning to be. And the Redskins just aren't close because the defense is just a really long way from what we thought. And the offense has been pretty decent up to now, but just the offensive line was just so pathetic tonight. I can't wait to see Brandon Thorne or Robbie Duncan or somebody really break it down. The next few days, because I have a feeling from what my non-expert eyes saw, Brandon Scherf whiffed completely. On one rep, a couple times. Morgan Moses got just torched by Khalil Mack. Donald Penn got beat by Khalil Mack. I mean, he was all over the place. He was a monster.
I mean, here's the thing. I can accept. All right, those guys are going to get beat by Mack. That You're talking about one of the best pass rushers in the league. And Donald Penn is 100 years old. Morgan Moses has issues. I'm okay with them both giving up those sacks. The fumbles I'm not okay with, but the sacks I can live with, that's going to happen in a game with this guy.
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, he was even rushing on the side with the tight end and got that the one sack where Mack went in completely untouched. There was a tight end there, and neither the tight end nor the tackle decided to block him.
Well, I mean, the kicker was two tight ends were over there. Sprinkle and Davis were over there.
Right.
Neither wanted to touch them.
Yeah.
They're afraid of
that's
them.
why I said that. Well, no, that was a scheme problem. I'm telling you, somebody called the protection wrong, there. So, I mean, gosh, they did show signs of life in the second half a bit, but that was really born out of garbage time more than anything else. The Bears looked like they just, they wanted an easy second half, and more than anything.
I just don't understand how you don't say, "Hey, there's Khalil Mack over there. I'm pointing at him. Tackle on that side. Block him." That should be your plan for the entire game. Whoever's the tackle should be hitting that guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's more complicated than that, but I understand your point completely. I mean, you have to key in a guy like that, and the problem is he's not the only one.
Right. They have three or four decent pass rushers. Yeah. I've realized that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got, I mean, of all people, Clinton Dix with the 2 interceptions. I mean,
you knew that was going to happen. As soon as it's of course, this is how it's going to go.
Of course it is. He gets the pick 6. I mean, that's just at this point, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
It's karma. I don't know. Who
I
knows?
mean, all right. So fans want to burn down the stadium, and with the team and ownership and all the players and the coaches all inside, right? It's pitchfork and torches time now for the fan base, whoever's left.
It might just be you and I talking to a microphone with nobody listening.
You know how our ratings have been going. Every loss, I'll be shocked if we have 100 listeners.
Our ratings have gone sort of akin to how many tickets are sold at FedEx Field.
Exactly.
And I'm sure we're not the only podcast. I'm sure it's all of them across the board.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. I hear other people talking about that all the time. Ratings just tank when the team's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
Okay. So anyway, game. Look, I haven't been on the Greg Minuski, tar and feather, run him out of town train, because I mainly think that's just dumb fans. Because every week around this team for months and months and months, we've had a different person to hate every week.
Oh, sure.
They've gone from
fans are emotional.
Yeah, they've gone from Josh Norman to just everybody under the sun. And this past week, it's been Greg Minuski. But I gotta say, this week, I do blame Greg Minuski for a lot of this. The reason I haven't blamed him recently is that I don't really much like the way he designs his game plans, but the players have been getting beat one-on-one, and I refuse to put that on the coaches.
Sure.
It's like, when Josh Norman gives up a post pattern for a touchdown, that ain't on the coach. It's like when the defensive line, all four of them lose their battles one-on-one in the trenches. That's not on the coach. That's on you, And so, but this game, I kind of do put on the defensive game plan, because what do we know about Mitchell Trubisky? We said it.
Pressure him, he'll screw up. Yeah, we said it on the pregame show.
How many blitzes did you see?
Like 2. I didn't really. I wasn't counting, but it was a lot of 4-man rush.
Right. And so we stuck with the game plan. What they should have been doing, in my opinion, is blitz the guy relentlessly early, get him thrown off his mark early, and they just let him get comfortable. And I realize, okay, the secondary's shaky, but something's got to give.
Yeah.
And that was the guy to blitz, and they didn't do it. And the other thing was, the Bears ran, I don't know how many different versions of the same play over and over and over
Which
again.
play are you talking about?
So you have they did multiple varieties of the same thing. They had bunch formations on two sides.
Sure.
And then you'd have two of those players in the bunch, and then the one on the other side run clearing patterns downfield, and then you either run a crossing pattern shallow,
right,
or you have a screen pass set up in the flat.
I mean, it's a staple play in every level of football.
Especially the Bears.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many times do we have to see this before the linebackers? Jonathan Bostic played horribly today, I thought. And Cole Holcomb was chasing people all over the field, too. To me, that's on the coach. It's like, how can you not be ready for that? It's the Bears. You knew that was coming, and you saw it over and over and over again in this game.
Well, and
just unbelievable.
I understand why you're wanting to put it on the linebackers. At the same time, I mean, it's a play designed to create a mismatch against a linebacker. You're putting a speed receiver who a linebacker's not going to keep up with. They need to do a better job of getting the right players on the field to match up with who the offense is putting out.
Yeah, I mean, it is a scheme thing, but also, again, it's coming.
Right.
And these linebackers acted like they didn't even see these guys. Mm-hmm. Acted like they didn't even see him.
If the team's in a 5-wide kind of formation and you're still sticking with your base nickel front, that's a problem.
Yeah. So that point is, today was really the first day. Oh, and in the touchdown, the last touchdown in the first half, the last Bears touchdown in the first half, when Trubisky basically walked out into the left flats and then tossed the ball, it looked like he was playing in the yard.
Right.
I mean, that was a scheme problem too. Again, that was a crossing route.
Sure.
On the other side of the field that nobody saw, and you saw, I forget what linebacker, it might have been Ryan Anderson, huffing and puffing, chasing him down, 10 yards behind him. To me, that was another scheme problem.
Well, to me, one thing I picked up on a lot was Montez Sweat was always out of there in third down situations other than the one sack he got.
Yeah, you'd think that he would be in there on the third down
situation. You know who you don't expect to get a pass rush is Ryan Anderson in a third down situation.
Yeah.
And you also don't expect him to do much in coverage because, I mean, the dude's a tank. He's not built to cover guys.
I mean, at least Montez got a sack this time.
He did.
We did see, and if you saw what happened on the sack, it was a speed rush, and you just flat out ran around the left tackle.
Right.
I'm glad we saw it because we haven't really seen that ever from the guy. So I mean, that was a positive, I guess.
It was.
There's one.
I mean, there are always positives to take away from these games. You just don't want to harp on them when you're just getting your ass kicked every week. I mean, yeah, it's great. We found Terry McLaurin. He looks like he'll be a number one receiver. Whoopee. A guy getting what did he get? 70 yards and a touchdown? You said something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I mean,
it was 6 receptions, 70 yards, 8 targets, 1 touchdown.
Right. I mean, that's nice. That ain't gonna win you a football game. One receiver doing that.
I mean, the 2019 Washington Redskins need to have a run game.
Right.
And they just haven't been able to do it. They haven't even been able to get close. And not that we expected them to, run 180 yards on the Bears, but
something.
They still needed to establish a run game that can open up the offense just a little bit because the Redskins just don't function without that. These aren't the Patriots.
No, I mean every team needs to have a identity on offense, and if you can't establish one, you're going to see what you're seeing now. It's going to struggle. We don't have a quarterback to be a pass happy team. Not with Case Keenum. Like he's a game manager. Maybe when Haskins is in there next year or later this year, they can be that kind of identity because I think he's got the arm for it, but not right now.
Yeah, this was just the first time I really saw the offensive line embarrass themselves like that.
Yeah,
I mean, because we faced 2 other good defenses, by the way. I mean, the Eagles and the Cowgirls, excuse me. Need to use their proper name,
right? You don't want to insult people.
Actually, I really shouldn't call them cowgirls because that's an insult to women.
No, cow patties is really
that's really better. Yeah. But anyway, point is, I mean, they faced DeMarcus Lawrence and Fletcher Cox,
right,
and didn't let those guys run wild. And I realize it's Khalil Mack's probably better than both, but still, I mean, that was just an utter jailbreak, and that really
caused the Monday night effect. The Redskins.
Yeah, the Monday night effect.
Somehow, just don't understand how to play. I don't Is something going on where they get in there on Monday night and maybe the lights in FedEx Field are just not the right luminance, so their eyes are all thrown off or something? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Honestly, I mean, I just don't think they're this. I don't think they're mentally tough. It's big pressure.
It's going on for 20 years, so it's
not
like it's one coach or one front office staff. This has been going on forever. I just think it's
been, but none of these teams have been any good, basically. No. Aside from a couple of Joe Gibbs years and one Mike Shanahan year.
We just idolize them because it was Joe Gibbs.
Well, but by Redskins standards, they were good teams.
There were a couple 6-10 seasons there.
Listen, I mean, but aside from a couple seasons here or there, none of these teams have been any good.
No.
But they're just worse under the lights, and I think it's because they're just not mentally tough. They're mentally weak.
Yeah,
they're not prepared. Yeah, and they proved that again today. We saw a loss coming. What I didn't see at all was 31 points.
No. I mean, I had predicted this would be a low-scoring game, and I think I ended up saying in the pregame show that I thought they might win this one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I said 17-10, and you said loss.
I said 10-7, something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. And I still think Mitchell Trubisky sucks.
Yeah.
I just,
we have something very fundamentally flawed with this defense. I can't even put my finger quite on it. Because I look at the roster and I see enough talent where we shouldn't be losing 30 points a game.
Oh, yeah, clearly they shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, our secondary's got problems. And, Josh Norman should have been let go years ago. But
well, I don't know if he should have been let go years ago. He's certainly not played well this year.
When was last year you think he played really well?
Really well?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So I would have let him go after that.
I mean, but who are you going to replace him with? Is the problem.
I don't know, somebody affordable.
Who's going to be worse? Yeah. It's not like they need the cap space. They weren't ever going to sign, spend a ton of money on free agents.
That's true.
It's not that wouldn't solve the problem. No, he's been bad, and he's an easy target for fans to hate. He hadn't been good this year for sure. He gave up another touchdown, today. Was it Gabriel that made that fantastic catch?
And then I think he was there for 2 touchdowns that he blew.
Yeah.
And he had the pass interference and the interception. So one good thing, 3 bad things.
Yeah. But point is, it's not just him. To me, I think the fan base collectively, and I've said this before, collectively overrated this defensive line from the beginning.
Yeah,
and the reason why because I said that because every time I saw them play in the preseason, they were getting beat by, They haven't played well, I love Jonathan Allen, don't get me wrong, but I have yet to see them dominate anybody.
No.
And they've gotten dominated basically every time they played. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said they're overrated. Just the results aren't there more than anything.
There's raw talent. It's just not being refined.
Yeah. They definitely shouldn't be giving up 30 points, though. They're not that bad.
No.
For sure.
I mean, at this point, it seems like they're just I don't know if it's psychological with them. It's hard to tell if it's psychology or scheme or coaching or what.
I think it's a combination of the scheme doesn't do us any favors particularly. The players aren't as talented. They don't know how to win. These teams, they're losers. I mean, on the football field, not in life. But, I mean, I'm talking this is a losing football team, and there isn't really anybody out there who has been a winner. And I just don't think they really know how to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Landon Collins, who's supposed to be the big leader, he was on the Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants have stunk.
Right. Ever since his whole time there, they were terrible.
Yeah, there's not a Tom Brady type, out there who can rally these guys and follow me. They just don't really have that. Jonathan Allen is supposed to be that guy, but he's been hurt.
Right.
So. And what is? I mean, he hadn't won anything either, to be honest.
Not at this level. I mean,
no, exactly.
You got guys who they get from all these guys from Alabama who are just all right. You played at a great school, but nothing's kind of coming through from that. It's not like it comes in via osmosis or anything,
And by the way, just for the record, I don't think this is accurate because I missed part of. I was distracted for part of this game, but I counted 8 penalties. There might have been 9.
I think it was. I saw 10 somewhere.
Yeah, I missed 1 or 2 here and there, but it was another big penalty game, in there certainly. And halftime stats. I mean, nothing remarkable about halftime stats. I'm not going to go through.
No,
these.
Don't even bother.
Yeah, I've got them.
It's a dumpster fire there.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire. That's all there is to it. I mean, so anyway, and I mean, shoot, the other. I'll tell you, bright spot. Steven Sims, those kickoffs, finally got some positive yards, had the 145-yard return. Mm-hmm. The dude's a player. I mean, those of you who are paying attention in the offseason knew that.
I think he might, by the end of the year, he might be beating out Trey Quinn for playing time, from what I'm seeing now.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think Trey is one of these guys that Jay Gruden just kind of falls in love with, and probably overrated by the coaching staff.
Yeah, but he's a Mr. Irrelevant, and you know how that just kind of curses you at some point.
Jay seems to really focus on one receiver at a time.
They do,
and really loves him, and he overplays him.
Yeah,
and so it's I don't know if Ryan Grant and Trey Quinn are brothers or long lost cousins or something.
Well, it is kind of funny, and I think this is a Case Keenum thing. He locks onto a guy for a series. We had the one series where it was here's McLaurin again, here's McLaurin again, here's McLaurin again. Then another, he hit Paul Richardson 4 times in one drive. He has that tendency to just be I'm going to keep going after this one target. Which,
and by the way, yeah, you're right, he does. But it was just Keenum's worst game all around. I don't like going for 2 over and over and over again. I don't care what the stupid chart says. You need the points. Take the point.
Yeah, I guess. In the end, it doesn't make a difference either way.
No, I mean, clearly not. But, I mean, if they kicked the extra point, it would have been, 17-28 at one point. And,
Right.
I don't know.
And if they made them both, it would have been 19 or 28-19. You know,
so
it really doesn't make a big difference. It's just it is what
just take the extra point. But that's just irrelevant. The only other good news out of this game is that there were really no serious injuries to speak of. Brandon Scherf went out, but he came back in.
Right.
And other than that, it didn't look like anybody really got too beat up. We don't have the injury report yet. It'll be out probably in the middle of the night. And we're going to be sleeping probably.
Well, okay, so speaking of things that'll happen while we're all sleeping, you think we'll wake up and hear of anyone getting fired?
No.
No? Not even Minuski or anything?
No. Why would you start firing coaching staff in week 3?
Because they gave up 31 points a game?
No team in the right mind is going to do that. Nor should they, because number one,
when is the earliest you remember somebody getting fired?
Not week 3. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know, but certainly not that early. I mean, absent somebody fondling the secretary or something. I mean, I think where you had to fire him, but and that's just a terrible example. By the way,
I don't think anyone's actually ever been fired as a coach for that. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a front office thing.
It's Hog Sty late night people. But point is, I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's not going to happen, nor should it happen. And furthermore, the entire football world predicted us to be 0-3.
Right.
By the way, all of us on the Hog Sty did, and most analysts did. I think it serves no purpose to fire Greg Minuski now. I mean, what is that going to accomplish? Nothing.
I mean, unless he's lost the confidence of the players at this point.
Even then, we're not even out of the first quarter of the season, for God's sakes. I mean, is that going to win any games?
No. It might light a fire under our ass or two. That's about it. That's usually the thinking behind doing that move.
We're going to see every fan under the sun talk about fire Minuski.
Right.
And what people fail to realize, it was really the offensive line that wasted this game. Because 21 of these points came off turnovers, and one of them was a pick six. One of them was a turnover in the red zone, and the other one was a long drive. They gave it up. So really 14 points were just gifts that were not really on the defense.
Absolutely.
I mean, take those away, and this is a totally different game. Take those away, and we would have seen the game that you and I predicted, which was the low-scoring game and all that.
Right. Well, and
that would have
don't forget the field goal also was off a turnover.
Yeah, and so hypothetically, you could have had 14-6 at halftime.
Right.
Totally different game.
Yes, but didn't turn out that way ultimately.
No, it didn't. But it's just like the Fire Minuski crowd needs to stop and think about what exactly happened.
Well, the Fire Minuski crowds moved on to Fire Gruden, Fire Bruce Allen. Like I said earlier, it's pitchfork and torches out there for the Redskins.
If it wasn't already, it certainly is now.
Yeah.
I didn't follow Twitter tonight. You were Alex was manning the Twitter waves tonight. I assume it was ugly.
It was pretty ugly. I won't lie. I was kind of enjoying getting into the ugly every once in a while.
Were you? Just don't embarrass us.
I didn't do anything too embarrassing.
Because we've had this problem before, Alex.
I'm past that point now, where I'll say something
it's a weeknight.
Yeah.
So, the fire water can't cloud your judgment on a weeknight.
That is true, because I got to be up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and get to work.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up and do some.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep prattling on at this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, I'll go first. Game balls. I hate to keep repeating myself, so I'm going to give an offensive game ball to not Terry McLaurin. I'm going to give an offensive game ball to Steven Sims. He had another positive showing. He came out of nowhere. Undrafted free agent from football hell, Kansas or Kansas State. Kansas? Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Jayhawk,
and he's proven to be a player, and he showed it tonight. So just to be different, Steven Sims. And on defense, God,
it's a dumpster.
I'm giving my game ball to Khalil Mack. Don't hate me. Khalil Mack gets my game ball. And furthermore, I'm going to have Morgan Moses and Donald Penn walk the game ball down to the Bears locker room and to present it to Khalil Mack. And I want you to write that.
So it's a shame ball, not a game ball.
I want you to write that. Are you keeping track?
I am keeping track.
I want you to say for the defensive game ball, Penn and Moses present game ball to Khalil Mack. I want you to write it like that. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
I'm having to type all that out because I'll forget it tomorrow morning.
Okay. So
present the ball to Mac.
How can anybody else get a game ball? Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and stay faithful to the intent of the game ball. Offense, we've been literally giving it to Terry McLaurin every game so far. He's had a sweep, so I'm going to give it to Richardson. Just again,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
We can't give it to the same guy every time.
He was the leading receiver tonight.
This was may have been one of the best games I've seen him play for the Redskins.
Absolutely,
which kind of sad. Defense, all right.
See, here's the challenge. I dare you to come up with someone that deserves a game ball.
I'm going to do it, and you're going to hate me. It's Matt Ioannidis for that sack that almost was the safety. That's it.
Yeesh.
That's the only nice play that happened. So
I mean, I wouldn't be embarrassed to accept a game ball. What I really should have done is just not given one. But since you made me give one,
those are the rules, Steve.
Honestly, Khalil Mack kind of deserves a game ball.
Khalil Mack was impressive.
Do I have to give it to a Redskin?
I mean, we said you should, but we're making this shit up as we go along. Come on. All
right. So I'm going to stick with Penn and Moses present game ball to Mac.
All right.
That's my official game ball.
All right.
Defensive game ball.
That's fine.
And I want to see them like a film of them walking the game ball on a towel or something. Down to the Bears locker room and kneel.
Both of them holding it like the Stanley Cup, where you have to have two guys.
Exactly. Yeah, that right. Yeah, and they got to walk into the Bears locker room and hold their heads in shame.
Right.
That's what I think needs to happen.
Well, he whips them or something. I don't know.
Throws the ball at him. Poof.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this show. We kept it right at 30 minutes, and do we really want to talk about this anymore?
No, nobody wants to listen to more of this.
No, I don't even want to listen to more of this, and I'm going to have to edit it. So,
good luck.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, if you are actually listening. And, we only have, 13 more games to go.
Yep.
Yay.
It'll get better from here. It'll get better from here, folks.
No, it won't. Yay. All right.
All right.
Stopping.
Bye.